Well, build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance that's bit in his eye. Well, they gave me bars, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I drown my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober.
Hello everybody, welcome to a Quick Bang. I'm your host Matty. This is Saturday after Hibs have beaten Ross County 2-1 up in Dingwall. So a bunch of happy Hibbies on Win of the Day. Jamie, I'll start with you, mate. What's your take on the game?
Much improved performance. I thought first and second half Hibs were absolutely on fire. Lost a really, really shitty goal. And we come back from being a goal down.
Happy days, eh? It's not happened much this season.
Happy days.
Do you think
hasn't happened much this season?
Do you think we went behind on purpose just to show that we could dip after all the chat about it?
There's every chance, but the penalty was soft, which is absolutely fine. It's still a penalty, whatever way you look at it. He's got to see his body in front of the ball. The defenders made the tackle. It's a penalty. I thought Jackson Irvine and Doig had really good games today. And an upshot for me was I thought Nisbet, when he come on, looked far more interested. Every time he touched the ball, looked like moving, driving forward and trying to cause a goal. Let's be honest, though, we could have absolutely annihilated them. We missed 4 really good chances, and the scoreline flatters them. Yogi would had them pumped up, and they were claiming for everything. But I'm absolutely delighted with Hibs' performance today, and long may it continue, because that's us now 6 ahead of the sheep. And they're really going to have to go some to try and beat us into third. So well done. I'm absolutely over the moon with Hibs.
Aye, buzzing. Kaiser Swoozie, what about you, mate? What was your take on it?
Aye, echoing the same. A lot better performance. Still kind of a similar veins where they couldn't have kind of cut it in the final third through the first half. But the second half after the goal, proper reaction there. Really decent, and I think the Rangers fans, if they want to have a look at the league table and see points, that's what 55 honestly looks like.
Not dressing up as anything else, eh? Nice one. Leon, come to you next. Happy with that today?
Aye, brilliant. Good performance, both halves. Thought Martin Boyle was really unlucky a few times not getting through, and one of them you could look at a few of them and maybe Wisdom side and just the calls weren't right. But I thought the reaction to the goal was great. The goal was poor to lose. The guy who assisted the goal and the goal scorer had a year of space each all the time in the world, but they reacted to it, and it's good to see. Nisbet taking his goal it just shows you the instinct he's got as a striker to fall everything in. And some people say they're in the right place at the right time, but these boys can where to go and when to make the runs and that was a big difference today. I thought Doig was good again. I felt we missed him last week, and he showed this week what he does offer. But again, obviously, he's no confidence in front of goals. But brilliant, good, massive 3 points.
Good stuff, and that was my typical interviewer's question there as well. Are you happy with a win? Like anybody's going to say that, I'm fucking raging about it. Leon, I was meaning to come to you there, but Liam jumped in because you have the similar sounding names, and it's obviously my accent or something. So, Leon, Jack Ross sound alike, Melker Hallberg look alike. What were your thoughts on the game?
I think you're addressing me, but it still sounded like Leon, to be quite honest, Matty. Just a wee bit. But I probably similar to what others have said. I don't think it was a scintillating performance by any stretch of imagination, but I thought we were comfortably the better team. I thought we created enough chances to win probably a couple of games of football. But I think having said all that, the goal we conceded, I think there's probably quite a few of us who were thinking, "Oh fuck, here we go again," when that went in. But they reacted in the right way. I think we got a penalty that was ultimately pretty soft. But I think, it's the old cliche, seeing them given, and we did get given it. And then after that, to be honest, once we scored, and then when we scored the second, I thought we were comfortably the better side and probably should have gone on to win the game by more. And that allowed us, when we went in front, to actually play the game football we wanted to play. We wanted to hit them on the break. We wanted to get those runs in behind from Boyle, and a few of those moments opened up for us. So, aye, it's good 3 points, and 6 points clear of Aberdeen. I don't want to tempt fate, but I think it'd be very, very difficult for them to catch us now, to be honest.
Touch wood. There was the double save for Rocky as well after we went 2-1 up. Do you think that was? There's a bit of talk about whether Macy should come back into the team now that we know that Rocky is going. Do you think it was the right decision, Liam, to keep him in the team?
I've been quite vocal about my opinions on this. Marciano's the best goalkeeper Hibs have had in my lifetime, and I wouldn't be dropping him for the keepers that we've got at the club at the minute. And I think anyone who says otherwise needs to have a bit of a reality check and look at the keepers we've had in the last 20, 30 years. Well, certainly 20 years, because that takes Gorman Leighton out of the equation.
Aye.
But the last 20 years, he's streets ahead. And I know some of the saves are a bit for the cameras, but he makes them. And you know, there's keepers in the league who do not make the saves that he makes. He's outside of, you know, Alan McGregor. I think he's comfortably the best of the rest.
I think he's one of the first keepers that we've had in years that when you look back at the end of the season, you can point to games where he's won us points. The day's probably like an example of that with a wee double save. Andy, welcome to Quick Bag. You first go in it. You're joining us from sunnier climate down in Australia, aren't you?
Well, it wasn't the day, it was pissing down.
All right. Oh, well.
It was 11 degrees and we had about 15 mil of rain, so it wasn't what you would call, you know, your normal Australian day. But on the balance of play, I thought Hibs dominated and could have been 2-0, maybe even 3-0 up at half time. You know, they were just controlled the balance of play, and it was just like they didn't have a cutting edge at the goal side. So it was, you know, if we had got in front early, I reckon it could have been a cricket score. Yeah, it was pretty happy with the result. And as you say, going behind and then coming over the top is what we've been lacking in the last couple of weeks. So that's a massive improvement, and it must give us the impetus now to push on and cement the European spot.
Fingers crossed. There, Ewan, come you. What was your take on it, mate?
I thought we were really, really good. The first half, I thought we really dominated the ball without really creating all that much. I mean, Cadden had to score, and I had him on first goal scorer, so I'm actually just sick of doing that, to be honest, now at this stage. But and then I think when Ross County came out a bit to play in the second half, it suits Hibs. Like, I think everyone's pretty aware we're better with the ball, to be honest. We made a threat when we win the ball quickly, and really, really, really good. The biggest takeaway for me was that how good does it feel when you come from behind? I feel better today than when we've pumped teams this season. Like when we beat Livy 4-1, we were 4-0 up. I was like, that was good. But when you come from behind and it's a bit edgy in that full time, I was out my seat in the living room, sore throating that first time I think probably this season. But big thing for me was I think it's time to get Doidge and Nisbet up front together again. The second goal, Doidge holds it in really well, lays it into Hanlon, and then that lets Nisbet do what he does and just be the poacher in at the back post, like what we had the opportunity to do that in the first half when Doig put across and there was nobody there. So I think it's important to get both of them into the team, and it'll be harsh to drop Cadden, Boyle, Newell, Irvin, whoever it is, but I think it's important for the rest of the season to get they two up front together again.
So who would you drop out of them if you were making the decision?
Fuck. I mean, he took Cadden off today. It's weird because Cadden would probably be the sacrificial lamb, because you'd probably be ending up going 4-4-2 with one or with sort of almost three centre mids. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't actually know. I've not got a clue. I honestly don't. But I just know you need to get the two up top.
Well, I'm glad I asked anyway. Thanks for that. Tracy, what was your...
I'll text you later with my answer.
Nice one. I'll not read it. Tracy, what was your take on the game?
Yeah, pretty much what everyone said. I thought we worked really hard today. I'm the same as you, and I think, I mean, the first thing when I saw Doidge back in the team sheet, and I thought, God, why is it not got Nisbet and Doidge? But I'm a bit like you, and I don't know who I would keep out. So that's the kind of, and it's a difficult one for Ross to obviously make, but I think you see the difference. I think second half last week, although we were quite poor last week, the difference when the two of them were on the pitch, we did start to play that bit better, even though obviously we got nothing really from it. But yeah, no, I think the two of them need to be back up front. the way they feed off each other. I mean, they both need goals, so to see Nisbet back on the score sheet today, I think was brilliant. It's going to do a lot for his confidence as well, and just the way that the players all ran to him as well. You can see how much that they were so chuffed for him as well. So you can tell that he's not, you know, everyone was saying, oh, I think Jack Ross has lost the dressing room. You know, I think, you know, when Nisbet putting in the transfer request, but I think you could quite clearly see today that they've still got that camaraderie there.
They were definitely fine. You could tell, and
Yeah.
I think the conditions play a part, but how the yellow shirts, how dirty everybody was at the end. You could
Wouldn't
see.
want to wash them.
Aye, everybody had put a shift in. I think it was Martin Boyle in the 90th minute, won a free kick up in the corner, and it was like he was playing in a brown strip rather than a yellow one.
I know.
So,
All I could say was, I hope they can get a shower.
well, good shout, because some places they'll not let them.
I know.
Jimmy, what about you? What was your take on the game?
The first half, I'm still not too sure about this five in the middle. I was listening to you and Tracy there, and quite rightly so. When we changed it in the second half to the 4-4-2, I thought there was chances, so many chances. I think we had 6 chances in the second half, 0 in the first half. Who would I let go? I'd probably say Joe Newell, I'm afraid. I just don't think Joe Newell does enough for me in the midfield. If we're going to play a 4-4-2, which most of our good results has been when we've played that 4-4-2, and it's great. And I spoke last week about Kevin Nisbet, you know, what he's went through. He done more in 45 minutes than he's done in the previous 3, 4, 5 games, which was brilliant. It really was. It was a great result today. There was a lot of pressure on a lot of people. To walk away for there with 3 points was fantastic. Now, next week, I think a point next week will be enough.
What, to secure third, or?
I do think so. I think so. I don't think. I mean, the goal difference is a lot better than Aberdeen, and I think that I don't know who Aberdeen play next week, so maybe I'm jumping the gun, but I think a point's enough.
Dundee United away.
Is it Dundee United? Well, listen, as Tracy says, the second half last week was good, and the second half today was good, and we scored goals. And the goalkeeper, and ex-Hibby, had fantastic saves, real good saves. And if you listen to that Craig git, Boyle was lucky to be on the park.
I don't know. Well, see that? I thought he
was lucky, Matty.
He could have definitely got a second yellow for the dive. I mean, I think he was definitely chancing his arm a bit there. Cheers for that, Jim. We'll come on to Dave.
Fantastic.
Dave, what was your take on the game, mate?
I think just kind of the same as the rest of the guys. I think there's a lot of positive signs coming from that game. You know, the one that sticks out for me is the coming from behind, something that we've not really seen from the guys, and also the fact that they were able to do it in that second half. Now I know that it's the same for both teams, but I felt like when it switched from I went off that half time, I've seen the first half, conditions were all right, and I came back the second half and I thought they changed stadiums. The wind was swirling over the place, you know, there was rain gushing down, and you've seen that with the amount of folk that were slipping in the second half. I think a lot of the pitches this time of year kind of break up as well, and we've seen that at Easter Road, you know, the state that the pitch has been in recent weeks. So it was good to see them be able to do that, not on a carpet, but in slugger conditions, and really fight it out, which they have to do against, you know, a Ross County team. You know, Yogi will have them up and got them playing much better in the second half than they did in the first half. I think we kind of seen in the first half, Hibs controlled, you know, the majority of the ball. They had the majority of the possession and didn't really fashion many chances. There was a couple of slack pass backs that Boyle got on the end of, Cadden put one over the bar, but as much as I can remember, chances wise, a lot better in the second half. You know, like Jimmy said, Ross Laidlaw pulling out some good saves when you maybe think the guy should score. Again, a very soft penalty, but I'm not going to stand here and say, you know, have the ball back. I'll take the penalty all day long. And a good second goal that comes off the back of two chances. You know, you work Ross Laidlaw twice and you think the chance is gone, and then, you know, the ball gets recycled out and the ball gets put across Nisbet gets a goal, and it's good to see his reaction. And I think he'll get a lot of confidence going into the split. I think he'll be able to kind of push on now. There's a kind of lot of question marks. He had, I think, 11 league goals, and he was on that for a while. Hadn't really been up to scratch for the past maybe a couple of games or whatever. But no, it was really good to see, and good to see some players stepping up. And Gogic, I think something as well for me was Gogic kind of came in steady. Didn't see him giving away the ball, you know, a couple of times, and kind of being able to keep himself steady after a farcical booking in the first 5 minutes of the game, which was absolutely. I seen it and I was like, how's he giving a booking for that? I think it was his first foul of the game, and it was. You're kind of pushing it. Okay, maybe it's a foul, but even then, I think a booking was absolutely mad. I think Beaton didn't have his best game in terms of the certainty of the penalty, and maybe looking at it both ways, a failure to book Boyle for the simulation of the second one, because I think he just tried to buy one there, and even I was watching it, I was like, I think he's lucky, you know, he's not being sent off for a second booking for diving there. But all in all, it was a good result to see. But it's just important that they maintain that and kind of take that into the split, because I know some of the guys are saying that they think maybe a point or thirds maybe secure or whatever. But I mean, I've watched Hibs the past 6 years. They've been known to throw away a couple of positions from time to time. So it's really important that we don't kind of rest on our laurels and just say sixth enough. We really need to kind of push, and especially with the split, you only play tough teams. You know, we're not in the bottom half. We're playing, you know, the Old Firm big game against Aberdeen. You know, you've got other teams and stuff like that as well. So it's very important that Hibs really push on, and I'm confident that they will. But it was very good to see today. Good
stuff. Kaiser, you've got your hand up. I'll come to you, and then I'll I'll come to you next. So, Kaiser, what would you want to say, mate?
It was just about Gogic. I thought Gogic was a liability today. I actually think he passed more times to a Ross County player than he did to a Hibs player, and he nearly got an assist, and it wasn't for Hibs. It was just I don't know if I was. Do you know what I mean? That Gogic today, that was probably the worst performance I've seen of Gogic today. And I might be wrong. That's just my opinion. But it was just when he said there Gogic was firm in that and stable. I thought, nah, anything but for me.
I thought, well, my own view is I thought Gogic did quite well at the defensive side of the game, but he did give the ball away a fair few times. Dave, you just put your hand up there. I'll come quickly so you've got the right to reply, and then Colin will come to you.
No, it was just to say, I think kind of the defensive point, I think we kind of know that that's his game, you know, kind of similar to when we had when Bartley was here. He's the guy that's going to do step overs and play kind of through balls and passes. And I know there's been a couple of times, even this season, when I've looked in at simple 5-10 yard passes that he's put in mind, and I'm like, you know, I'd like, it's just simple. But I think the defence side of the game, and especially considering what his role is to break up and getting that book in 8 minutes in, you know, it's easy for him. And he had one a couple of minutes later, and the pressure's on him, you know, for the rest of the game to not do anything silly and get himself sent off. And I think in terms of having to deal with that, and also the fact that I was watching the game, I didn't hear his name being mentioned, but he's not the player that you want to hear the name being mentioned. You just want him to go about his job and just be steady. And I think the fact that he done that, and again, difference of opinions, I didn't notice any kind of glaring errors or anything like that, but I just thought it was one of his more steadier games. And I think for me, he's definitely played worse games. So it's good that he's kind of not dropping down to that level.
Nice one. Colin, what was you thinking of, mate?
I'm just amazed at the different feel of the podcast on a Saturday, all that chat about coming from behind, and you've not said a single comment on it. But I thought we were they definitely deserved to win. I think we're awfully wasteful, and it'll cost us at some point. It probably has cost us this season already. The amount of chances been mentioned could have easily been 4 or 5, kind of 2 1-on-1s. Keeper's made a good save as well. Can he criticise that? But the 2 1-on-1s, you think you've got to score Cadden in the first couple of minutes. But it was good. I thought we were all right. But I just think he's definitely not lost the dressing room, like the boy was saying last week. That is just a nonsense comment. But it was good to come back. Is that actually the first time this season we've came from behind and won the game?
So first time in the league. We've done it in the cup. I think Cove Rangers went ahead against us. And I can't remember if one of the other teams did, but
I think Alloa did as well.
Alloa, but in terms of
first time in the league,
the first time we've
that's
won.
amazing, but because when we went 1-0 down, I thought, here we go. But then obviously got to go back quick, and we keep saying it's a soft penalty, and folk are saying it's a soft penalty, Craigan and all that. But
I thought it was a penalty.
I should have that. But we've had more than one like that this season already, so maybe it's the rules.
Aye. Well, you mentioned us kind of getting back into the game quite quickly. So we concede and then equalise minutes later. How big a difference do you think that makes psychologically to the players if they think, right, because the players will all be aware that there's no one for coming from behind, but if they get that goal back straight away, do you think it sort of, almost negates the fact that they've gone behind in the first place?
Yeah, I never gave them time to think about it, did it? So they almost went straight for kick-off, straight up, and got the penalty. So I think that they never had time to let it dwell on it. You know what I mean? It was straight back in the game, and then obviously Nisbet's back as well, so that's good. Good to see as well, because I think obviously he was talked about for the Scotland squad, wasn't he? And he wasn't anywhere near it at the moment. Although if it's just Shanklin ahead of him, then he probably still is in the mix. So if he can go now on another wee goal scoring run, he'll definitely be in the mix. And I thought, just as well, sorry, I'll let you speak to the others, but I thought Porteous had a good game today. I know, actually. I thought you could see him shouting at the boys and keeping them up for it. He won a lot of headers and that, and he's perfecting that sort of Stephen Presley plunge and winning loads of free kicks at vital times.
Aye, chucking himself down as soon as somebody comes behind him. Aye, fair enough. Take it.
That's
Raymond, what were you watching today behind you? By the way, I saw Bugs Bunny earlier, but it doesn't look like Bugs Bunny anymore.
I think we've just got a compilation of Looney Tunes today.
Excellent. So far. What was your take on the game?
I'll use that word, persevered. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. We deserved to win in every way, but we played the conditions extremely well. When that weather came in, we got stuck in about them and gave them as good as they gave us. Now, it would have been almost quite typical up there in particular for us to get pushed around and bullied a wee bit, and when the rain comes in, we kind of get the ball on the deck. We played the condition, we played the way that we should have done for those conditions. It wasn't very pretty, but it was effective, and I thoroughly deserved to win. We were I don't know how best to put it. I just feel that we were much better today, just better. People were doing the right things in the right places, and I think the addition of Nisbet in the second half was particularly good. It did throw Boyle out wide when for two. I did notice when he went out there, I don't think he was better there right once. Interestingly, I might be wrong in that, but their right back seemed to have the better. He just sort of waited for him to move and then nip and shoot the ball.
Yeah.
So Boyles is better at playing that line and nipping in and trying to sort of get in between the two centre halves than it is playing out wide, which would beg the question: do you drop Boyle and do you play Cadden? Because Cadden is a better natural right-sided player to whip the ball in. Because I personally would rather have Doidge and Nisbet up front because they work very well together when they work together. Nisbet's goal being a classic example of just somebody that knows where to be at the right time. Now, you can say that's a tap-in, but it's not a tap-in because he's got to get there. He's got to be in that position. You know, he's stinking all the time. There's basically three sort of moves off play in the build-up to that goal. And Nisbet was the one that got himself in there. So I think that was brilliant. The other thing that I noticed was Ross County appeared to have a boy playing number 26, I think, who I think he just missed the bus from Murrayfield because I don't understand why he was there. He seemed like he should have been in the front row for Scotland.
Colin, you got your hand up there. You want to come in?
I was just a quick thing just there. I didn't know what about him. He's right. Raymond's right there because Doig put a cracking ball across the box and there's nobody there. He just wanted to be tapped in, but Nisbet was not on the pitch at the time to do it, and none of the other boys can get in that position because they've not got that about them.
Aye. Cheers, Andy.
Absolutely.
Andy Jeffrey, you're last one to speak, so sorry for keeping you waiting. What was your take on the game? You were first in as well, the room. That's very rude of me to kind of keep you waiting.
No problem at all. No problem at all. I mean, you've got to echo what the majority have said here. That the game panned out the way we probably would have liked it in the end, coming from behind and leading and getting that win from behind, as we've said. But for me, is the point about Nisbet and Doidge, you have to play them together. We've got our best results playing together. But for me, 4-4-2 doesn't work because you've not got the balance in midfield, you've not got the defensive capabilities. And I like the 3-5-2. And for me, it would be Cadden that misses out just now, but only because Boyle's getting the goals and he's on the set pieces and he's taking the penalties. It's unfair on Cadden because Cadden's been good. But when he went off today, we looked at a more balanced side. I don't know why that was, but it's possibly been harsh again on Cadden. But I was very impressed with the fact that we came back, we got the result, and we're now 6 points ahead of Aberdeen, which looks comfortable for us.
Aye. Raymond, and you both had your hands up there, so Raymond, I'll come to you first, and then you and I'll come to you next.
No, I mean, it's just reiterating exactly what I said. We're talking about the sort of Boyle Cadden conundrum. Well, let's be honest, it's a good position to be in. You know, when we're talking. I feel that if Cadden had stayed on the pitch and Boyle had gone off, that's never going to happen because he scored the goal. I think that we would have had that same balance, if not slightly better. That's only my opinion. Now, I love Boyler. I think Boyler's great, but out wide, Cadden's better. So if you're playing the two up front, how do you do it? And then we go back to what we were talking about last week. We're trying to get too many good players into the team. You know, we're trying to accommodate people in the midfield. So somebody unfortunately has to drop to do that. And bear in mind, the game's played over 90 minutes. You know, let's not just think on this as a sort of a period where someone's on the pitch for that entire 90 minutes. You have to consider it in sort of possibly three blocks of whatever that is. You know what I mean? 45 minutes. It's certainly the first half, and then you're sort of looking very early into the second half, and you can make that switch.
Yeah.
Aye.
Right, what is Ewan, I'll come to you, Jamie. You've got your hand up, and then Jim, you put your hand up there, and then we'll wrap up. So Ewan, you make your point, and I'll come to Jamie, then Jim.
It was just on my back of sort of what obviously I raised it earlier, and I've been thinking as we've been going on. I think it would have to be between Boyle and Cadden, because I do agree. I don't necessarily think 4-4-2 we can really do, because I don't really think we've got a left midfielder now. And you would end up shoehorning Irvin or
what about Murphy?
I forgot about him. Was he on the bench today actually?
No. Didn't think he was featured at all.
No.
Well, he's not getting in the team after that. Come on, man, you're just making my life difficult.
Sorry, mate.
I think it would be between Boyle and Cadden, and I totally agree. I think Cadden's your better option at right wing back than Boyle, but to drop Boyle then it would be difficult. So I'm glad I'm not Jack Ross trying to shoehorn them in.
Jamie?
It's the old adage of horses for courses, really, and playing the best team against the opposition. So there was a lot of talk last week about why was Scott Allen no featured in the team at any point. He's not even been mentioned today. Joe Newell, I thought, was much better today in terms of the position that he plays. But you've got to kind of play the players that are going to suit the best game plan for each individual game. Murphy just been talked about there by Ewan. Also, I thought Doig had a really good game up that side. So really, from a left-sided point of view, we've got really a good attacking point from Murphy and Doig. I think Doig is the better offer than Murphy in that kind of position. But if you look at the bench today as well, we had Kyle McGuinness on the bench. When was the last time we even spoke about Kyle McGuinness? Again, he's been playing on the left from us. Where does he come in? We've got really a good depth and strength in the team. He's been on the bench today.
Aye, he was on the bench today, yeah.
So what I'm saying is getting the fact is just obviously it's trying to find your best here, but we've got an overabundance in midfielders, and that's good news. It's not bad news. It's just fitting the players into the right system, into the right games, especially for these last 6 games coming up. You get a win at Livingston, I think it'll definitely cements us in a really good position next week. Difficult game there, but I think we're looking strong, and I'm not really sure in terms of the formation, but we seem to be doing okay.
Good stuff, right, Jimmy? Come to you, Andy. You your hand up, and then we'll wrap up because we're almost out of time.
Well, I was going to comment on what Ewan was saying was regarding the Murphy scenario. I'm not too sure about Murphy. He's probably been off sick more times than he's played, I'm afraid. I don't think he gives enough when he's available. I don't know about the rest of the guys saying that. We've got a great squad of players. It's now the manager's position now to get these players, whether it's a 4-3-5, whether it's a 5-3, whatever it may be, it's his job. He's got the staff there now. He's got the players, and there is good players there. And we spoke about the young laddie on the bench there, McGuinness. I think he can be a powerful football player. He's got the physique to be a holding midfield player, maybe. But I'm not too sure about Murphy being in come the end of the season or come next season. He'll be part of the plans. But I think we've got a good and the board have. Let's not forget about them. They've backed Jack Ross up with acquisition. So onwards and upwards.
I think if we get a 4-3-5, that'll probably answer our questions. But we just play everybody. Andy, last.
You can put Lancaster in it.
You understand? Is it a 5? Is it a 4? Is it a 2? Is it?
Okay, we'll play. Andy, last word to you, then we'll wrap up for the evening.
Just a quick one, Matty. Just really happy with regards to the situation we could find ourselves in with Porteous and Hanlon, Porteous and Nisbet. I think it was Colin that mentioned it about the Scotland squad. Now, Porteous was brilliant today, and if he keeps playing like that, he could force his own way into Scotland for the Euros. And if Nisbet gets another 5 goals between now and the end of the season, you're talking he's going to the Euros as well. So, and then obviously in Nisbet's case, it probably enhances his value, Porteous as well. So 1-1.
Happy days. Okay, guys. Thanks very much for joining us. Andy, for Australia as well. You'll be able to get to your bed now, I presume. If anybody else wants to go to your bed as well, I'm not stopping you. Did you just got to single one person out? If you want to go to your bed, you could do that. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back on Monday with Longbangers, and we'll see you then. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
See you later.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee.